Welcome, Guardians. In a world driven by corruption, distraction, and public domain control, Dailyplanet.Club stands apart. Here, inside our private members association, governance belongs to the people, not to parties, lobbyists, or institutions. Guided by the 7 virtues, protected by the Magna Carta, and empowered through the People's Democracy Coalition and the Tribunal, we build a sovereign system rooted in truth, honour and free will. This is PMA governance. This is how we reclaim our future. Overview of PMA governance. PMA governance at Daily Planet. Club defines how Guardians self-govern inside the private domain, free from public domain coercion and corporate monopoly. Instead of political parties and lobbyists, we rely on the 7 virtues, private contract and Magna Carta inspired protections to guide every decision. Within this private members association, authority flows from the members upward, not from institutions downward. Therefore, all Guardians participate in shaping policy, resolving disputes and building new infrastructure through the People's Democracy Coalition and the Daily Planet.Club Tribunal. Foundations of PMA governance. The Daily Planet. Club PMA governance system stands on 3 primary pillars: private contract, Magna Carta protections and the 7 virtues. Because these foundations are stable, Guardians can build long-term systems without fear of political change, media narratives or corporate capture. Private contract and free will. Every member enters the Daily Planet Club PMA by free will and private agreement. Consequently, all authority is granted by consent, not by force. Governance decisions apply only to those who have agreed to be bound as Guardians under the internal rules of the association. Magna Carta inspired protections. The spirit of the Magna Carta safeguards the individual's right to justice, private property and self-governance. For that reason, PMA governance respects due process, honourable conduct, and the right to be heard in a tribunal that answers only to the members, not to corporate or political interests. For members who want to study the historical roots, the Magna Carta can be explored through trusted archives, such as the British Library and parliamentary records, which highlight limits on centralised power and the protection of the individual. The 7 virtues as operating code inside Daily Planet. Club, the 7 virtues are not decoration. They are the operating code of governance, humility, leadership that serves rather than dominates, charity, decisions that protect the vulnerable and support the community, kindness, communication grounded in respect, not manipulation, patience, time given for evidence, dialogue and due process, chastity, disciplined self-control, especially around power and influence, temperance, balanced judgment that avoids extremes and excess, diligence, careful stewardship of member contributions and resources. These virtues form the immune system of our private democracy, directly countering the 7 deadly sins that dominate public domain politics.
The 7 virtues form the moral code that guides PMA governance decisions.
The People's Democracy Coalition, PDC. The People's Democracy Coalition is the trusted stewardship of the private domain. It does not act as a public political party. Instead, it coordinates Guardian will into coherent policy and guidance for the PMA operating system. Because the PDC is accountable to the members, not to donors or lobbyists, it can focus on long-term stewardship rather than short-term election cycles. It assists in translating Guardian proposals into clear governance frameworks that can be tested, refined and recorded inside the Alpha Omega library. In addition, the PDC supports the design of new private infrastructure, quantum-powered energy systems, health sovereignty pathways, private education networks, and tax-free member-to-member trade routes that align with the Bypass campaign. Daily Planet. Club Tribunal, Private Justice in Action. The Daily Planet. Club Tribunal is the sovereign legal authority inside the PMA. It offers lawful, peaceful resolution of disputes between members and the governance bodies, always under private contract and arbitration principles. When a dispute arises, the tribunal examines the agreements, reviews evidence, and hears all relevant testimony. Because it is guided by the 7 virtues, it seeks restoration and learning rather than punishment. Members can therefore rely on a stable, honourable forum that understands the private jurisdiction and the unique systems of Dailyplanet.Club. The tribunal works alongside the Guardian Ledger and Alpha Omega Library, ensuring that rulings, precedents and learning outcomes are recorded in a structured, accessible way for future guardians and future cases. Governance tools: Ledger, Library and Wallet. PMA governance integrates technology with virtue-based leadership. Because our systems are designed to bypass Rockefeller-style control, they serve members rather than extract from them. Guardian Ledger. The Guardian Ledger records votes, proposals, rulings and contributions in a structured, tamper-resistant manner. As a result, transparency increases while corruption and backroom deals become impossible. The ledger supports direct private democracy and keeps a clear history of how decisions emerge over time. Alpha Omega Library, AOL. The Alpha Omega Library preserves governance, knowledge, tribunal precedents, educational material and spoken word narrations. Members can revisit lessons, review governance pathways, and deepen their understanding of private domain law, atomic technology, and the bypass campaign. Guardian Wallet and Private Trade. The Guardian Wallet connects governance with value. When members contribute to governance, create learning materials, or design new systems, micropayments and reward flows can be triggered according to the waterfall logic defined elsewhere in the PMA operating system. This ensures that stewardship, wisdom and effort are recognized in a fair and measurable way. Member-to-member trade remains tax-free within the private domain, while public-facing transactions follow whatever lawful obligations apply externally. In this way, the PMA governance model respects public law, the boundary, yet it prevents public systems from reaching into the heart of private life, bypassing Rockefeller-style governance. Public governance has been shaped for over a century by Rockefeller-style systems: vertical integration, horizontal consolidation, and regulatory capture. These systems reward greed, pride, and manipulation, while they quietly erode sovereignty and family life. PMA governance does the opposite. Instead of centralizing control, it decentralizes authority across many guardian. External references for further study. For guardians who wish to explore the historical and legal background that inspired PMA governance, the following public domain resources may be useful. Magna Carta Background and Commentary, British Library, https://www.bl.uk/magna-carta. Historical Development of Constitutional Principles, UK Parliament, https://www.parliament.uk/about/living-heritage/evolution of Parliament/ Private Arbitration and Alternative Dispute Resolution Overview, Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, https://www.carb.org. These references remain outside the PMA, yet they help guardians understand how public systems evolved and why a private, virtue-based alternative is necessary. Member contribution and governance evolution. PMA governance is designed to grow with the guardians. Therefore, your insight, experience, and conscience are vital. Members are invited to propose refinements to governance procedures, Record lessons learned from community disputes and resolutions. Share spiritual, legal, and practical wisdom into the Alpha Omega Library. Design new tools that strengthen transparency and accountability. Spreading truth knowledge with DPC, you help create a self-sufficient future with harmony. Awareness is the first step toward liberation. By lifting the veil of ignorance, we ensure that our governance remains aligned with the 7 virtues and the will of the members. Meta description snippet, public-facing. PMA Governance Daily Planet. Club explains private virtue-based democracy, tribunal justice, and guardian assemblies under Magna Carta. Private domain notice. All content on this page operates within the Daily Planet Club PMA private jurisdiction. It does not constitute public legal advice, public political campaigning, or a public offer of services. All participation is by private agreement between members.
Let's consider the broader implications of this approach and how it aligns with our goals. What are your thoughts?
Thank you, Guardians. As you've seen, PMA governance is not politics, it is private sovereignty in action. Every voice matters. Every contribution shapes the pathway forward. Together, through virtue, wisdom, and unity, we build a peaceful, corruption-free civilization guided by truth, justice, and the will of the members. Join the assemblies, learn the systems, and step into your authority. Daily Planet. Club where sovereignty begins and the future is built by guardians.